In the Right to Try, I tell, Jen McNary, Jen is the mom, I tell the story at length. And I first read about Jen's story in the Burlington Free Press up in Vermont. And both of her, two of her sons, she has 4 children, but 2 of her sons have Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, which basically will cripple the boys. And most boys who have this will not live past their 20th birthday. One of her sons was able to get into a clinical trial, and he was doing extraordinarily well. And he went from being in a wheelchair part-time to being able to play soccer and be on the playground at school. Really incredible progress, never before seen in boys with DMD. His brother, on the other hand, did not make it into the clinical trial. They had very strict criteria, and he just didn't qualify. So he had to watch as his brother went out onto the soccer field, and he was deteriorating, and he got to the point where he couldn't even hold a cup of water to his lips. And this is the situation today in the United States. If you're lucky enough to get into a clinical trial, many patients will find improvements, and many have been cured. The challenge is that it's about a 15-year process for that particular treatment to ever make it to market. So in the meantime, if you don't get into the clinical trial, you die. And so the Right to Try is about saying, hey, look, if it's good enough for people in clinical trials, it's good enough for all of the people who need it at this time. They should be able to make that choice as long as they know that there are risks and some things that are still not quite proven, how much efficacy, what exact dosing, and things like that.
When you first got involved in this cause with the Goldwater Institute, you decided to go after it at a state level, targeting state lawmakers. Why did you do that instead of going after Congress? Because the FDA is a federal agency.
It would be wonderful to see Washington reform this in one fell swoop. They have the power to do it. And in fact, the FDA already has rules and regulations that enable it to help a lot more people than it chooses to do. But we know that it's been 25 years since the FDA has made any major reforms to really affect large numbers of people with these terrible terminal diseases and diseases for which there are no treatments. And so we decided to go through the state legislatures. And of course, as I think you mentioned at the beginning of the program, the states, 24 states have adopted this law in just a little bit over a year. It's moved with almost unanimous support on a voting margin of 99-1. It's a left, right, and everybody in between type of issue.